Hey everybody, welcome back to another video in the happiness series. And this one, we're going to be covering the second principle that is discussed in the Happiness Advantage book, and that is the importance of mindset. And I hope that you really enjoy this one because this is a topic that I've spent a lot of time and energy over the last probably year or two really working on learning more about and working on my personal mindset around life and things in general. So I hope you enjoy it. My name is Dr. Matthew Shim. I'm the owner of Peak Brain Performance Centers here in Colorado Springs. And just like last time, we're going to kind of start with going over some of the studies that they frame before they actually get into the applications of how to put mindsets to work. So in this study, that it was actually conducted in 1979. And what they did was they took a week-long study with a group of 75-year-old men, and all the men in the group, they were told that they were going to be gone for a week-long retreat. And also they were told that they could bring no pictures, newspapers, magazines, books, anything dated later than 1959, so 20 years prior. And when they arrived, they were told that they were to pretend as though it was 1959, making them theoretically 55 years old. They also were told that they had to dress and act like they did 20 years prior. And they were also asked to speak about events or circumstances that had taken place in 1959 in the present tense. Essentially, everything was designed to make it feel as if they were presently in 1959. And what they found was that most of the men had improved in every category. They were more flexible, had better posture, improved hand strength, eyesight, cognitive performance, and physical appearance. So on average, the eyesight had actually improved by almost 10%, as did their cognitive performance on memory tests. And then also random pictures of these men were showed to individuals before and after the experiment and asked to guess their age. And the men on average were ranked 3 years younger than when they arrived. And so this just goes to show the importance of mindset. These people, these men were taught to believe that I'm going to spend the next week imagining that I'm 20 years younger. I'm going to put myself in 20-year younger me and 55-year-old me. And they came out of that with actual improvements and a lot of physical things that you wouldn't really think. And that just goes to show the importance of one's own mindset. Next one is researchers actually blindfolded a group of students, and this is a study that I'm glad that I was not a part of, but researchers blindfolded a group of students and told them that their right arm was being rubbed with poison ivy, and afterwards, all 13 students reacted with the classic symptoms of poison ivy, even though in reality, they didn't use poison ivy at all. It was in fact just a harmless shrub. And so all of them reacted, even though they didn't actually rub any poison ivy on them. What they also did was that on the student's other arm, the researchers rubbed actual poison ivy, but told them that it was just a harmless plant. And even though all 13 students were highly allergic to poison ivy, only 2 of them broke out into a rash. And so it just goes to show that our expectations create brain patterns that can be just as real as those created by events in the real world. Next one. In this study, they took cleaning staff from 7 different hotels, and they told half of the employees just how much exercise they were getting every day through their work and how similar their daily vacuuming routine was to an actual cardio workout. Like how many calories you're actually burning during this is similar to an actual cardio workout. And what they found was that those who had been primed to think about their job as exercise had actually lost weight and their cholesterol levels had dropped. And this group, and if you actually look at what they did no more physical activity than the control group that was just not told anything about vacuuming being correlated with actual physical activity. The only difference was how their brain conceived the work they were doing. The mental construction of our daily activities, more than the activity itself, defines our reality. And so this just goes to show the importance of how we frame our mindset in regards to certain things. Now, another one is people with fixed mindsets miss choice opportunities for improvement and consistently underperform with those with a growth mindset. Watch their improvement, they continue to improve. And so what they did is they defined a fixed mindset, which basically is someone who believes that their capabilities are already set, while those with a growth mindset believe that they can enhance their basic qualities through concerted effort. And so what they did in this study is they took 373 seventh graders, okay, and they tracked their performance over the following 2 years. And what they found was that the grade point average of the students with a fixed mindset stayed flat, while the ones with the growth mindset significantly went up in an upward trajectory. Simply put, those who believed they could achieve more did. And what they also attributed it to was motivation. And when we personally believe that there is a positive payoff for our effort or contribution, we work harder instead of feeling helpless and like, this is just the best that I can do. And so I think in this example, these children these seventh graders who thought that they could do, they had a growth mindset, they were probably more inclined to be going to a university afterwards, and they had the motivation to get a higher grade point average to get into a better school. My perspective. Another one, which is really interesting, jobs versus careers versus callings, and how in this study, how they define a job is someone who sees work as a chore and their paycheck as the reward. They work because they have to, and they constantly look forward to the time that they spend away from their job. A career is defined as someone who works not only out of necessity, but also to advance and succeed. They are invested in their work and they want to do well. Lastly, a calling is when someone looks at their work as an end in itself. Their work is fulfilling not because of external rewards, but because they feel it contributes to the greater good, drawing on their personal strengths, and ultimately gives them a meaning and purpose for life. They also make a point to emphasize in this study that the profession in itself is not really what matters. There are plenty of doctors out there who see their job or see their work as a job, and janitors who see their work as a calling. And so their suggestion in this book is in regards to your actual responsibilities that you must fulfill. It comes down to your mindset. Ask yourself what potential meaning and pleasure currently exist in what you do. So the example that they give in the book is they say, imagine two janitors. They both work at a local elementary school, and they both walk into an absolute chaos mess of a room. One focuses only on the mess that they have to clean, and the other believes that they're contributing to a cleaner and healthy environment for the students. They're both doing the same job, but different mindsets will dictate their work satisfaction, their sense of fulfillment, and ultimately how well that they do at their job. I thought this study was really powerful for me because so often we want to complain about the circumstances that we're in when in reality, the person I was 5 years ago was praying and hoping for the life that I live today. And so I can be down on myself and think about how maybe today I'm not as happy as I will be in 5 years from now because of the things that I will achieve 5 years from now. But also, if we take a step back and just try to analyze our current situation and think, well, the life that I'm living today, the guy I was 5 years prior to this was praying and hoping for the life I live today. So I think when you always just put things into perspective and frame it like that and figure out like, where am I going to get my meaning from? That's where you can subscribe meaning and subscribe happiness out of things. Another example that I'll give you is a book that I recently read. It's entitled Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And Viktor Frankl was a Holocaust survivor who endured these just absolutely horrendous conditions. Right? Everybody knows about how difficult those times were. And with that, this man got through the Holocaust by being able to tell himself that he was a psychology professor, I believe, and he would tell himself to be able to get through the pain and enduring all the trials and tribulations that they had to go through in the Holocaust. He would tell himself, can you imagine the stories that I'm going to be able to tell and the lectures that I'll be able to give whenever I get out of this after undergoing this much trauma? Right. And then I feel like that is just an incredible way to be able to frame something that is so significant like the Holocaust, where this man was able to shift his mindset and think, think about 5 or 10 years from now, whenever I'm out of this thing and I'm on a stage somewhere and I'm presenting my experience of what the Holocaust was like. I think that was pretty powerful. Another thing that I wanted to finish this off with is, what does this really all mean? A great quote that I came across recently was a guy named Orson Scott Card, and he said that we question all of our beliefs except for those we truly believe and those we never think to question. And I think this is really important because if we actually take a step back and think, lately, I've been thinking a lot about how whenever we come into this world as a child, we essentially have no meaning, right? We have no idea what this journey we're about to embark upon will entail. All we do is observe, and whatever it is that we're told by either our parents or school or our employer or maybe even society at large, we take it as fact, when in reality, that may or may not be true. We are now, whenever that happens, we're now relying on another person's interpretation of the world, and we end up just inheriting those beliefs, which then get passed on from us to generation. And I wonder how many false assumptions about life are being passed down from generation to generation without somebody finally just taking a step back and saying, do I truly believe whatever this particular thing is to be true, or is it something that I've never even thought to question? And it makes me question, what are the current beliefs that I deem to be true, which aren't necessarily true? I don't know the answer, but I think that it's interesting to ponder on nonetheless. So I hope that you enjoyed that and able to actively step back, think about your outlook on life, and question if some of the beliefs that you subscribe to are actively serving you or holding you back from being happier or just achieving whatever it is that you're striving towards. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to email me or give my office a call, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.